right. What's up, y'all? Okay, listen, this is what
You made it. Come
okay,
on.
yes. So we are here. Y'all, welcome. Thank y'all so much for joining. I am holding my phone because I can't find anything to hold it, but we gonna make it work, honey, because this is what we do. Welcome, 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 y'all. This is Hey Girl, Hey with Brandi. This is live and unrehearsed for sure. Hey Girl, Hey with Brandi is really talking about beauty transformation through what I went through, which was trauma. I went through a very difficult time in my life. Oh, okay, we getting some. Okay, make it work, ladies. Okay, we got some comments. Come on, comments. So we'll put it right here on the side so that everybody can see it. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, come on, come on. Thank you, Kristen, for joining. Girl, what's up? So anyways, Hey Girl Hey is really a space and a place for me to connect with mental health professions, therapists, and anyone who is ready to tell their story about how they overcame any type of trauma and talk about their healing journey and their healing process. I feel like I'm so dismantled. I just feel like I'm not put together. Oh, yes, Kristen says she's excited. Yes, girl. And so in this particular topic that we're going to talk about is going to be around trauma and suicide. And also, we're going to talk a little bit about the emotions. So, first off, let me introduce my guest here. She is a Chicago native. She was
Yes.
raised here in Texas, received her degree in sociology from the University of Texas at Dallas, and earned her master's degree in counseling from Texas A&M commerce as a licensed professional counselor. I do know this a little bit about her. I know that she really enjoys working and helping teens and young adults in navigating their life stressors. So I would love my guest too. I told her that I was going to have her pronounce her name because I don't want to jack up nobody's name. So please, if there's anything else I need to add, please let me know. I only did like a skim of your bio, but if there's
Tell me
anything else I
that.
need to add, please go ahead and please pronounce your name so the people in the back can hear
Yes. What's up, y'all? I'm Raffinee.
it.
That's how you say my name, Raffinee. So think Renee, but Raffinee. That's what
Okay, that's a good. Thank you.
the E's on the end give you the A. Yeah.
Renee, so Renee Raffinee. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, girl. Yes, honey, I got it. Awesome. Well,
And
let's go
so
ahead. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
I was just gonna all I was gonna add was my name actually came from a perfume that someone gave to my mom when she was pregnant. So it's a French
Really?
name. Yeah. I don't wear it. I always get that question. Do you wear it? No.
No.
It smells like grandma and flowers.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. It
But I
reminds
do have a bottle that a friend bought me 1 year for my birthday. And so it's really sweet to kind of see my name on a product.
Wow. Look at that. Look at that. Well, welcome. I am so glad. And thank you for telling us that. That's always good to know the backstory, honey.
Hmm.
People need to know sometimes. Like, yes, my mama was being creative. And this is why. This is where it
Yes.
came from. I just want y'all to know. Well, welcome. I am so glad to have you. This is
I'm
our
so glad to
third
be here.
session, and we're just going to kick it off because I want you to spend time really
Yeah.
talking about some of the things that we went over. But
Hmm.
I want to remind people that if this is your first time joining, we're a little clunky on Instagram if you hear. So, hey, what's up? We a little clunky. But I want to share with y'all, if you've never heard my story before, that in 2010, I was stabbed multiple times in my head, my body, and nothing of organs were punctured. But through that, this was birthed out of me sharing that story and saying, hey, I needed to get help, y'all, but I was challenged with going to go get help. I knew I needed it, but it was just time. I needed to talk to somebody, and it was even challenging to talk to someone about something that was so sacred to me and something that I just wasn't really ready to talk about. And so, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about that because that comes with the emotion. What is the drivers behind those stressors, or drivers behind why I thought I shouldn't have gone to go get therapy, but then I realized I needed help. So it was a free
Mhm.
resource. So I want us to talk about, Raffinee. Now that I have that in my
You
head,
got it.
boom. I want us to talk a little bit about, how trauma, or how going through something so traumatic. And y'all, let's take trauma out of thinking it's all physical. It's not just physical. There's other types of trauma that you go through. But when you see a patient or see someone that has dealt with trauma, what are the waves of the things that they have to go through to even get comfortable to even talk to you?
Yeah, that is so real. Listen, one of the things I have seen quite a bit in my work is when people have experienced trauma, there is difficulty with trust
Yes.
because of of what has happened, whether it was physical, like what you're saying, whether it was emotional. For some people, it's spiritual, even trauma that they've experienced, or religious type traumas, and so trust has
Mm.
to be established. And so for me as a professional, it is so important that I not attempt to rush that process.
Mhm.
So how do you go
Mhm.
about establishing trust? It looks very different with each and every client that I see, yet allowing them the opportunity to guide even our conversation. One of the things I do a lot in my work as a therapist is ask my clients, where do you want to start today? Or did you have an agenda for us today? And
Mm.
that's trauma or no trauma, because I always want my clients to know this is your time. And so
Yeah.
we can do with this time whatever you'd like. So
Mhm.
for some clients, it's like, I just want to shoot the breeze and talk about a whole bunch of random stuff. For some clients, it's very intentional. Some clients come
Yeah.
in, they like, I don't know what I want to talk about today. It's like, okay.
But I know I need to show up, so I'm here.
Yeah. And so having that flexibility, I think, helps to build that trust, build
Mhm.
a therapeutic relationship, and allow them to know that really I'm there for my client,
Yeah.
not for my agenda, or not so that we can get accomplished what I think needs to be done. Like, it needs to serve the client well, and it
Yeah.
needs to be what they need wherever they are in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's good because when I remember going to go see, um, the counselor, and I need to figure out what's the difference between a counselor and a therapist, because now y'all are called
We use
therapists.
the terms
It's just so
interchangeably.
yeah. So when I went to go see the counselor, I remember the first session that I went to, it was really I think, to your point, she was trying to establish trust. I didn't know what it was, but she was trying to establish trust. So for
Mm,
someone out there that is hearing this, that is, wrestling with, I know I need to go get help and I know I need to go talk to somebody, but understand that they're trying to establish trust just as well as you are as well too. You're trying to figure out if this is the right person for you.
absolutely.
I'm going to pull us away a little bit from that,
Okay.
because I want you to, um, I did not have these thoughts. Me going through something so traumatic that I went through, but I did have hopelessness,
Mm,
after dealing with something like that. How do I live life? I have a child. How am I supposed to continue life, as I knew it? But for some people, that's not always the case. They don't have that motivator or that push, whatever that
mm,
may be, to say, okay, I know I need to get help. Instead, they lean into this space that isn't always healthy. So let's talk a little bit about that, Raffinee. Like, thinking about what is the mind process when somebody has gone through something traumatic, and then all of a sudden they have these suicidal thoughts.
mm. Yeah. You know, I want to first say that trauma is very individualized. And so
Yeah.
we're using that word tonight. And I do think it's important that I kind of lay the groundwork that it is based on the individual experience. So
Mm,
let's use something that maybe people can resonate with. So a car accident.
Yes.
Someone can get in a car accident and it be traumatic for them, and someone else get in a car accident and it not be traumatic for them.
Yes.
The goal there is not to look at it or compare against someone else, but
Mhm.
rather to identify how the experience impacted you.
Yeah.
And so I kind of lay that as a foundation because previously trauma was t- most times looked at with soldiers and people that were in the military. It's like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
you can only have post traumatic stress disorder if you've been in the military.
Yeah.
And as years have gone on, we've come to see, and people have become more accepting of like, oh, okay, this is not just for military folks. Anybody can experience
Yeah.
trauma. And so suicidal thoughts are not abnormal in that
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
depending on what has happened, I heard trauma described as this: trauma is something that impacts and almost turns on its head the way that you view yourself, other people, or the world, which
Mm.
can contribute to that feeling that you're describing of like hopelessness or this despair or like, why bother? And so those thoughts of suicide can come up oftentimes as a sense of relief. I hear from clients that are suicidal many times. It's not really that they want to die. Many of them want some relief from the emotional anguish and turmoil that they are
Wow.
experiencing from the thoughts that they're having that seem to be gripping them, from the flashbacks or memories that are coming up. And
Yeah.
so that, for some people, seems like it's a way that I could get some kind of relief or like just help in some kind of way.
Yeah.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, so it's like as if so, Raffinee, I'm glad you brought this up because for me, or people who are hearing this, when we think of suicide, I don't think about the thought, the process that this person goes through. I
Mm,
immediately think, now I do think it is a cry for help, but I never thought about that it's because they're just it's a relief. That it's
mm,
an emotional relief that they don't know how to deal with. And so for them, it's not really wanting to die physically, it's wanting to somewhat die emotionally
mm,
because they want to get rid of this feeling, this hopelessness because it
mhm.
doesn't feel good. Everything was normal
Right.
until this thing, whatever your thing is,
Mhm,
happens. And then it's just and so it's kind of like a process. So let's talk a little bit about that. Um, when someone comes out and says, I've been having thoughts of suicide, what
mhm.
does that mean to you, Raffinee, when you're talking with them?
I ask more questions.
Okay.
That statement alone is not enough. Like,
Hmm.
so I want to know more about, tell me what the thoughts have been. Have you thought about specifics? Have you thought about how you might do this if you were to do it? Do you have access to the means to be able to do it? What might result from making that kind of decision? Like,
Mm,
if that happened, then what? And I want to throw this out there too, Brandy. I, when asking or assessing for suicide, I
yeah.
tend to ask more questions because some people may immediately say, no, I'm not having thoughts of suicide, because in their mind, suicide may be, I want to kill myself. But
Yeah.
I may
Yeah.
also ask the question, have you had any thoughts of death or dying? Have you wished you could go to sleep and not wake up? Have you had thoughts
Mm,
about what it would be like if you weren't here anymore? And
mm,
so it's an opportunity for me to kind of dig and investigate and find out some more, because suicide still can be a little taboo. And so it can be uncomfortable to say, I have actually thought about, going to sleep and not waking up again, or I have thoughts about
wow.
what's it like for me not to be here anymore. I've had thoughts about death. I've had thoughts about dying. That's not necessarily I've had thoughts about suicide, like
Yeah.
death by suicide. It could just be I've had thoughts about what it's like if I wasn't here.
Yeah. 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 And that's real good. It is taboo. We don't
Mhm.
really talk about it. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I'm a little uncomfortable talking about it myself right
Mm.
now
Mhm.
because it is there, and I'm being real. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
keeping it real. Like, that's what this is about, is being transparent and being open and honest and creating this space to be able to talk about it. Because when I do think about friends that have been open about that, how, as somebody who hears that from a friend, how do we support them, Raffinee? Like, help
Great
us understand.
question.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, help us understand, how do we support that if we hear that from someone else? Because I know it's easy for someone like, it's probably easy for a lot of Christians, and not calling anybody out, but sometimes we
Mhm.
want to pray for them. We want to pray with them because we think it's an aid and we know it is a way of help, but there's
Mhm.
something more going on. And
Yeah.
so, as a support, as a friend who is hearing that from someone else, what are some ways that we can support these individuals if they haven't gotten to you yet?
Yeah. Yeah. I love what you just said about sometimes as Christians we immediately want to go and pray. And I am in no way saying don't pray for them. So don't walk
Right.
away from this and
Right.
be like, Raffinee
Right,
said
right,
don't
right,
pray.
right, right. Talking about Brandy. We saw you at
uh
calling me out at church. Talking about Brandy. We saw your episode. What you trying to say? No, that's not it.
right.
I just don't want that to be a crutch of solution when these people really need to talk to someone.
Yeah. And so I started with that because I think it is important to meet them in their humanity. So one of the things I see happen sometimes with religion, faith, whatever it is,
Mhm,
Christianity or anything else,
mhm.
is if someone says, "Hey, I'm having these thoughts of suicide," or "I'm having thoughts about harming myself," if we immediately go to "Let me pray for you," it's almost dismissive of their experience because we
Yeah,
have not had the opportunity to learn some more about what's happening. That is me jumping into solution because maybe similar to what you described, it's uncomfortable. It's like, "Ooh, I don't like the way that this feels for me," and
yeah,
so
yeah,
I can pray because
yeah,
I know I can do that right now.
yeah,
And so meeting someone in their humanity and being like, "Oh my gosh, that has to be difficult. That's
yeah.
rough. Can you tell me some more about it?" Even asking, "How can I support you?" Because sometimes people may know how they would like to have support. We just don't always ask.
But
There are also
Raffinee, I've had a person, I'm sorry,
no,
because
yeah.
that's good. That's real good. I had a person tell me, "I don't know how you can support me."
That's real. Yeah.
Like, so what do you do? Like, what do you do? Like, as a
Yeah.
friend, you feel like you feel like that you feel like you feel like you can't help
Mhm.
them. Like, you feel
Yeah.
helpless
Yeah.
to help them.
So in that kind of scenario, and any other scenarios as well, the other things I would add in addition to meeting them in their humanity is like, okay, how would you feel if we looked up a resource? Like, would you be interested in talking to someone at a
Mm.
crisis line? Would you be interested in talking to someone at a text line? Nowadays in 2021, there even are crisis text lines. So you don't even have to call and talk to someone on the phone. You can text nowadays.
Wow.
And just talk with someone about what's going on. So there's the crisis text line, there are
Mhm.
suicide hotlines, there are national ones, but then there also usually are ones in individual counties that
Mhm.
someone could call and reach out to connect. Now, if someone says that they're suicidal and it seems like there's imminent threat or danger, you
Yeah.
can always contact 911 or take them to a local emergency room. Some people don't know that because 911, we think about like, oh, car accidents, somebody needs an ambulance, there's a fire, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those people also can connect you with mental health advocates. So there are some counties that have um, they call them different things in different places, but they are like mobile crisis units where
Mhm.
they are trained mental health professionals that can come out and help. A local emergency room, they have staff that are available to be able to treat mental health things, not just what's going on with the physical body.
Yeah.
Yet
Yeah.
we don't always
Yeah.
know that that stuff is there. And so those are also excellent resources. Maybe even suggesting, have you thought about counseling? Could I potentially help you find someone?
Yeah.
Like,
But
you
what
know,
about if they push back? Raffinee, you're saying everything, all the things. What about, going back to that uncomfortableness, not
Mhm.
uncomfortableness on my part, but the fact that the uncomfortableness of now you want me to go talk to somebody that I do not know, do not trust. Yes,
Mhm.
they have yeah, they professional, but listen, this is my
Yeah,
life. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
so you know that help is needed. You know somebody else needs to step in. But what about they refuse the, hey, do you want me to help you find a counselor? Do you want me to help you find a therapist? What do you do?
So I think you continue to meet them where they are in their
Okay.
humanity. So if they are like, "No, I'm not ready for that." Okay, as your friend, can I continue to support you by checking in with you? How would you feel if we touch base every day, every couple days, just to see how you're
Mm,
feeling? Is there something we could do together? Would it be helpful for us to maybe go hang out and go to lunch? If they
okay.
have got kids and maybe they're stressed out about kids and stuff, can I watch your kids for a couple hours and you go take a nap?
Yeah.
Like, meeting some tangible needs can also be helpful. And I think we don't always think about that because we go immediately
No.
to the suicide and to the
No.
death and dying.
We do not. I'm gonna tell you now, this girl right here
Okay.
does not, do not. I do not tap into the humanity of the person and saying,
Yeah.
what can I do to relieve the stress that could probably be an indicator, be something that is leading you to this for this mindset. And
Yeah.
so no, I don't think about that. I don't think about the
Mhm.
normalcy of what you probably need. Maybe the support that you don't think that the support that you think you don't need is just me being there.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Can
it's
I
me.
sit with you in this moment?
Can I
Can I
just sit
hug
with
you?
Yes. Can I
Yeah.
just call and check up on you every day,
Yep.
either through text or phone, so I can get a sense of making sure that you are okay. Things
Mhm.
like that. So that's good. Because
Yeah.
sometimes we don't know when we deal with
Accountability. Yes.
somebody said accountability friend.
Yes. That's
Yes,
real.
like seriously, because the minute that you open up and say, I've been having suicidal thoughts, or, some people probably won't say it like that. Maybe they'll say it in a different type of way that it gives you, it lets you know, hey,
Mhm.
something is going on. Then you have a few things that it seems as if we have a few things that, as a support group, as a supportive friend, and I don't know if I said that right. There are a few things that we can do
Mhm.
to
Absolutely.
help them. And the funny thing, Raffinee, is that sometimes as a friend, we don't know how to support.
Well, and here's the thing, Brandy, it's uncomfortable for us. And so
Yes.
going back to the prayer, if I'm attempting to make myself comfortable, I'm not really attending to your needs. I'm focused on what's going to make me more comfortable. And here's the thing about empathy. I say this all the time. Like, the difference between sympathy and empathy is that sympathy is like, oh, I feel pity. I feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
Empathy says, I'm attempting to understand your thoughts, your feelings, your
Mhm.
experiences from your vantage point, though,
Yes.
not what it
Yes.
would be like if I was in your shoes. That's my vantage point. I don't, empathy doesn't say that. Empathy says, I'm understanding it from your vantage point. And so it really is an opportunity where we can kind of take a back seat and really cue into, how can I really show up and support my friend? And if my friend is saying, I don't know, what do I know about this friend? What do I know about this person that's in my life?
Yeah.
Because usually it's not some Joe Smo walking down the street that's like, you know
No.
what, I'm having thoughts of harming myself. It's
No.
people that we know and that are
Yeah.
connected to us. And
Yeah.
so going back to that humanity piece, what do I know about my friend? My friend their love language is physical touch. Can we just sit close together on the couch? Can I give you a hug? What might
Mm.
speak to them and at a heart level where they are right now?
So Raffinate, girl, we are over, but we got an
We
extra
started
2
a few
minutes.
minutes late,
Yeah,
so
because
we
we
get the
started
extra
late.
minute.
So what what can you say to the person that is supporting someone right now that's dealing with that? And instead of them being supportive, they're angry at them.
Mm,
Because I don't I have found myself to do that. Like real talk.
mm,
Like I have found myself where instead of being empathetic,
mm,
I was more
mhm,
angry at the person opposed to, being more supportive.
Yeah.
And maybe it's due to triggers in my life or whatever it may be, but still I had to tap out of anger and I had to tap into empathy, but it took me some time. So
Mhm.
I'm wondering, like, I don't know if anybody out there, but
Yeah.
because for one, it's uncomfortable. Two, you've known this person all your life, and so you're asking yourself, how did it get to this point? You know what I
Mm.
mean? And
Mhm.
so instead of being empathetic, you now find yourself being upset at the situation or upset at the person. So what do you say to that person?
To the person that is angry or feeling that
Yeah.
emotion, I
Yeah.
would say your anger is real.
Okay.
So, one of the things I say often is that emotions are real,
Mhm.
emotions serve a purpose, emotions are attempting to communicate to you that something is going on, and it's
Yeah.
up to you to listen. And so, if all that stuff is true,
Mhm.
then
Mhm.
anger is attempting to signal something to you. It could
Mm.
be signaling that something seems unjust or unfair.
Mhm.
And so, if it seems unjust or unfair that this person is in this space and considering it, it could be that you may need to take some time to process kind of through that stuff and not dismiss it and not be judgmental of it because
Yeah.
it's trying to signal to you that something is going on.
Mhm.
And in that exploration, it may help to then really be able to show up and to extend empathy to the friend
Yeah.
because you've had the opportunity to kind of work through that. The other thing I'll say about the anger is the anger could be masking another emotion. So sometimes what we see, anger can operate like an iceberg. So kind of think Titanic iceberg. What we see at the top is a very little bit. The bulk of the iceberg is under the water.
Yeah.
Anger can serve in that same way, in that we see anger at the top, yet underneath it, there may be rejection, disappointment, sadness, hurt, pain, isolation, a whole lot of things. And so
Wow.
it requires much more vulnerability to say, "Man, it really hurts for me to see that my friend is hurting,"
Yeah.
versus being like, "I'm mad at my friend." Doesn't require much vulnerability for me to
No.
show or express that
No.
I'm angry, but
No.
it does require a different level of vulnerability to expose, "Man, I feel kinda isolated. I feel rejected
Yeah.
because maybe I wanna show up for my friend and they don't seem to be accepting of
Mm.
my help." Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah. No, it does. It does. Because it makes me think of, like, so when we think about anger, and I know we're kind of moving into this different space because anger, I'm not gonna lie, all transparency, like I could go from 0 to 6 in a matter of seconds. I don't know if it's because I'm Mexican, nothing against a Mexican, nothing against anybody, but for me and mine, this one
Mm,
right here, it we go from 0 to 1, 0 to 60. So it's just, but I didn't think about that, is that it may have something to do where I'm not vulnerable. And this is something that I'm actually discovering with God, is being more open,
mm,
being being saying my truth. Right now, this thing that I went through just hurt me.
yeah.
Because sometimes we're not even open with ourselves about that. And so when we
Mhm,
have to be open in other spaces, it's really hard for us. So we get angry and we get very defensive,
mhm,
because we want to defend our emotions because we don't want to be open, but we're not even being
mhm.
open with ourselves. And
Yeah,
so that is something that I'm learning about me, is that I need to be open with Brandy. When somebody says something to me that I did not like or disagreed with and it hurt me, I need to be open about that and saying it did upset me,
yeah,
and not dismissing it and saying, "Well, whatever," because that's what we do.
yep,
Whatever, whatever. And instead, what I'm doing is I'm not dealing with the emotion that I just encountered and dismissing it, but then it shows up somewhere else.
absolutely. Yeah, that's real. And here's the
Somebody said
thing.
somebody said I needed to be a therapist. Maybe I should.
Come on. And I wanna add this because I know we're probably gonna wrap up. In exposing and seeing what it is that your emotion is attempting to communicate, it can free you up to then really be present and show up for your friend.
Yes.
Because if you don't know what's going on with you or what's happening, even that discomfort that you described earlier, like in us talking about this, like that's signaling to you that something is going on. And so that exploration, then you have better understanding about what's going on with you. And so then,
Mhm.
yes, if I know what's going on with me, I can show up to be able to help and support someone else. I can be like, okay, I will give myself time to explore this when the time is right, yet I'm going to choose to be present here now in this moment with my friend
Yeah.
and deal with my anger, my frustration, my hurt, disappointment, etc.
Mhm.
In a separate space because this might not be the best space or forum for that.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm. So to the friend that is angry, what do they need to do to put their emotion aside and be present with this individual? How do they tap out to say, "I'll deal with that later, but I need to deal with it. I need to deal with my friend right now."
Yeah. At a practical level, I would literally say that. Maybe even out loud if you need to. Like if you need to excuse yourself to the bathroom for a second, be like, okay, I am feeling angry right now. I want to be present for my friend. I am going to
Mm,
give myself space
that's
and
good.
time to explore this tonight at 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
Like, you can set a time if you'd like to, and
yeah,
so then if it keeps coming up while you're trying to be present with your friend, practical tip that I encourage sometimes for my clients is remind yourself, "No, not right now, tonight at 10. Not
yeah,
right now, tonight at 10."
yeah,
And so you're telling your brain and training it that you don't get to just be in control and just do whatever you wanna do.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm choosing to be in control because the thoughts do sometimes just pop up automatically,
yeah,
yet we get to decide if we want to stay in that thought and allow
yeah,
it to loop and spiral, or if we want
yeah.
to say, okay, no, not right now. I'll come back to that later.
Mm, that's so good. That's so good. Because we don't I think as people, including myself, I'm keeping it real up on here. This is why it's called Hey Girl, Hey with Brandy. Y'all need to
Yes.
understand. But I don't think for a very long time did I say I think I did, but I don't know if I said it enough to
Okay.
say I was angry at the person who did this to me. Instead,
Mm-hmm.
I was leaning on to hope more. Even when I felt
Got it.
hopeless, I was leaning on to hope, but I was upset. I was really upset to a point that I you know, I even you know what, Raffinee? I even found myself when people did tell me like, "Brittany, we know people that could come get." I was like, "No, no, no. We're not gonna
Mm,
do that." And
mm-hmm.
I know they were probably, joking, maybe, maybe. But, I don't think for a second I dealt with, probably for a very long time did I deal with the fact that I was very angry.
Yeah.
The fact that someone I knew so close to me, somebody Chris Chris is talking about, "I'm that friend." Okay,
She
girl,
is.
yes. That, that person angered me. So I think after the fact, I was dealing with the emotion of I went through something, but the aftermath was crap. I'm I'm
Mm.
I'm like big angry. Like
Yes.
I am beyond
Yes.
angry. If I see you, you better hope I don't see you out on the streets where we
Yeah.
free because I'm going in. Somebody go
Mm-hmm.
give me some bail money because it's going down.
Yeah.
But I don't think, and there's been moments, Raffinate, like through my life as I'm getting older, I old younger, whatever that may look like. But where I have found myself that I haven't been saying that to say I am mad. This person pissed me off. I am mad at the fact that this person has done harm to me. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
even just in practical things. That's the thing. Like, we don't do it enough in practical things. So when the big thing comes, we explode because we don't know
Mm.
how to handle it in the small spaces
Yeah.
of the woman slammed the door on my hand.
Mm.
And that pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
Or the woman in the meeting cut me off and didn't let me finish my thought. That made
Yep.
me upset. We don't even deal with the small practical stuff like that and deal with it out loud and say, that did anger me or that did upset me. So
Yep.
then when we get to the big stuff, when like, I don't know why this is coming up in my mind, but like baby daddy show up and all of a sudden you mad,
Mm.
like, because
Mhm.
this is my experience, this is my
That's
shit.
real.
So
Yeah, that's real.
we explode. We explode because we ain't dealt just when little,
Yep.
Kylie, that's my little one, but she don't really, she don't do much of nothing. But um, when she upsets me, I'm not dealing with the fact that my child just upset me. Those little small little things that may get underneath our skin, we dismiss it, but then it pops up as the big, like what you said, the iceberg
Absolutely.
in this big
Mhm.
open. Now we acting a fool. Now you looking like
Yeah.
you crazy out here in these streets, and you really ain't crazy. It's just because you ain't dealt with the other stuff back
Yeah.
there. So that's man, Raffinee, this was great. Man, this was great. I love all
I
the emotional
enjoyed this.
stuff. It's
Yeah.
just I'm a geek about it. I bought a book that Dr. G told me to buy by Carolyn Leaf.
Oh,
21
yeah.
days of yeah, about I think she's a neuroscientist and then
She
she's
is.
a
She's
believer as
excellent.
well, and how she connects these things, your belief, into the mind and how the mind manifests stuff. But it's much more than just manifestation. It's much more than that. She talks about a lot of different things, our belief system, our core values, and all those different things.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm a nerd in those little things. I always want to know stuff about people, like why you respond that way. But
Right.
I need to be asking myself, girl, why you respond that way? What's wrong with you? Like, I need a therapy myself. Okay. This was great, Raffinee. So tell me, if anybody wanted to get a hold of you, um, what's the way that they can contact you?
Okay, yeah. So y'all can follow me. I'm gonna see if I can put it on my name. I'm on
Yeah, yeah.
Instagram as Stuff Raf Says. So that's STUFF Raf RAFF says SAYS. So it's there. Stuff Raf Says.
Awesome.
I'm there on Instagram. You can follow me, DM me if you have any questions or trying to find a therapist.
Yes, thank you so much. And do you want to leave any parting words for our viewers today?
Yes. Here's what I want to say. As much as we're talking about therapy and trauma and how to support friends and things like that, I want to encourage and remind people that there is no shame in whatever your emotional experience is. I
Mhm.
hear oftentimes people say, I'm not sure what I should feel, or someone told me I should or shouldn't feel this
Yeah,
way. And I really just believe that our emotional experience is just that, it's yours. And so, whatever it is that you're experiencing, wherever you are,
yeah,
allowing yourself the opportunity to feel it without judgment and without being dismissive of it.
mm,
And I really believe there's no shame in therapy, not just because I do this work as a
yeah,
therapist, but also because I do my own therapeutic work. I see my own therapist,
honey, I do
and do
too.
my own work because I just really believe in it. So I've sat
Yeah,
on both sides of the couch and seen
yeah.
the benefit of helping clients, but also being a client.
Yeah.
And
No,
so,
yeah,
yeah,
that's great. Yeah, girl, because I had one too. I
yes,
feel like she was there were big times where she'd be like, "Brandy, really?" But that's because we built trust. So
yeah,
now, my therapist, the therapist I go see has moved into this different relationship. In the beginning, it was more of I'm trying to get to know you, make sure we good. And
yeah.
then we tapped into this level of trust, and now I'm opening up more.
Hmm.
Um, because honey, I gotta get some stuff out. I can't be taking this stuff to the next season. Okay.
Yes, come
Uh-uh.
on.
No.
Yes, do the work.
Yes. So, and it is work, y'all. It is like going exercising. You gotta put in the work. The only way that you're gonna benefit from it is that you have to put in the work. So,
Hmm.
Raffinee, thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
joining
having me.
us. I
It was
loved
my
it.
pleasure.
I love it. Just as an FYI, y'all, I'm gonna put in the comments once we get done, how you can keep up with who are the next speakers that will be coming on. Um, Raffinee, if you oh, I didn't ask you this. Do you have any products or services that you wanted to offer to the viewers, or anything you wanted to talk, speak on about anything that you're offering right now?
I don't have any products at this current moment. I do have a VIP email list that, if you go to my Instagram at Stuff Raf Says, there's a link in my bio where you can sign up.
Awesome.
And so I share with my VIPs upcoming events that I'll be hosting,
Awesome.
events where I'm speaking, resources. And so join the list and you'll get much
Perfect.
more information there.
Perfect. That is perfect. 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 And after we're done, I'll post your Instagram, and then I'll also, so they can have the link to it, and then I'll also post, about to get on that ASAP. Yes,
Come
honey.
on.
I'm gonna also post my mailing list, just in case, if you all want to know about the speakers before they come on and the topics that they're going to talk about. So I'll put that in the chat too. But to all of you who have joined us, stay with us. Instagram,
Thank
thank you
y'all.
for our ghetto ness. This
Yes.
was super ghetto. My hand is hurting.
Don't call it ghetto, it's innovation. Come
It's
on.
innovation.
We
Yes, yes,
innovating
yeah.
tonight.
We innovative. It's it's still a little ghetto, but it's innovative. I'm gonna go with Raffinee's word. I love it. Thank y'all so much for joining us. I will be here next Friday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Y'all, and for those of you who are still watching, I just announced on my stories that we are going to be moving in for Instagram. I will be moving the segment over to my YouTube channel. So it'll still be here on Facebook, of course, on my Facebook page, but it also will be streaming on YouTube live. So y'all join me next Friday, 6:30 here, same place, same time. Thank y'all so much for joining. All
Thanks,
right.
Brandi.
Yeah, I'm gonna end the stream.